Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we bring to you the Virtius live stream of the Midshipmen of the Naval Academy versus the Black Knights of Army. We are very excited for this matchup as it is rich in tradition and history. I am your host, Brendan Fritz, a member of the Naval Academy Gymnastics team of the great class of 2022. Beside me as my co-host is Dhiren Lutchman. Dhiren, the floor is yours.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. We are here. The Star Meet, a meet that both teams look forward to every year. I'm very excited to see how these two teams match up. Both teams try their best to bring the Star back and wear it with pride on their respective campuses. And I think we have a really exciting matchup for you guys today. So just waiting to get ready for floor. Anything else, Fritz?
Yeah, so our coaches on the Naval Academy side, we have Kip Simons, Craig Holt, and assistant coach Michael Reed. We are the #1 seed in the conference as we speak. Our NQS score is a 394.083, and our high of the season so far is a 396.5. Good standing on our way into the rest of the season.
And the Army Black Knights, #3 in the ECAC, head coach J.D. Reeves, first year at West Point, former coach at the University of Iowa, clearly starting to do some great things with the program. Very excited to see how he's prepared his team for this match today.
Absolutely. I think you can dish out the scores completely off the bat. We're excited for a good matchup because anything can happen. Up first on floor, we have Ian Dinmore of the Naval Academy. Bit of a struggle there on the first pass.
Yeah, we can recover. Nice recovery there.
Much stronger. Solid landing there from Ian Dinmore.
Ian is also the team captain this year, leading the team to a great start to the season so far.
Absolutely.
Want to see this press held for a solid 3 seconds.
Good work there.
Nice connection there. Small little hop.
Much stronger on the back half so far. Let's see how we can wrap up this routine. A little bit of a struggle overall. Much better on the back half of the routine, trying to wrap everything together and stop the bleeding for the Naval Academy off the bat. Overall solid performance from your first up, Ian Dinmore. Let's see what we have next. It'll be a head-to-head format. West Point will be up next.
Got Nick Lester next, first up for the Black Knights. See how he can start this rotation off for his team. Nice double Arabian to start, small hop.
I will add both teams a little bit hoppy to start. A lot of meet energy. There's a lot of hype behind this meet, and it's hard to control those feelings and emotions. Let's see how both of these teams can manage the start of this meet.
Yep, they got a packed house in Halsey. I know it's a lot of juices flowing right now for them, so might take them a second to get settled in.
Absolutely.
Good routine here so far. Dismount should be coming up. Double full.
Very solid
Nice start.
At the end of the day, Navy has a higher start value across the board. So for Army, it's going to be a lot of damage reduction and risk mitigation today. So they can definitely capitalize on their opportunities being clean in their sets and executing properly.
Yep. Next up, I believe we have Danilo, sophomore or youngster, as they say at the academy. Looking to stop the bleeding a bit. Ian Dinmore's routine. He's finished off strong, looking to, get some momentum going here. It's only the second routine, so it's a long way to go in this one.
Solid first
Nice double
pass.
front.
Excellent. So far, so good. Really trying to mitigate those hops. We need to see some sticks here. He's managing it well.
Again, looking for this hold. Well done.
Solid there.
Nice.
Good. One pass left to put a bow on a pretty solid routine here. Let's see what Viciana's got.
Nice
Well
set.
done.
Good job.
That's going to pay right there. That's honestly what you're looking for. Pretty textbook routine right there. You're just trying to mitigate those hops, get some good landings in. I think the sophomore managed it well.
Yeah, like you said earlier, Fritz, everybody's still a little hoppy. You know, I want to see some more sticks. But, you know, like you said, it's a lot of energy going on right now. So, Ian
Yeah.
Dinmore, 11.15. Seems about right. 14.8 start value. Score for
Yeah.
Nick Lester has not come in yet.
Yep, still awaiting that score for Leicester, and then they'll populate Viciana's afterwards. And absolutely. I think it comes with the territory of a meet. A lot of energy in the crowd. You know, you got the pre-meet jitters. It's a very important match to both teams, and it means so much to wear that pride of the jersey on your chest. And both, you know, long meet, first event, first couple guys up. Love what I see so far, but, you know, we got a long road ahead of us, and we will just see how it pans out.
Yep. And floor is one of those events where you kind of just, a lot of power involved. So, you know, you'd rather, I guess, overpower something than underpower. Fritz, you know better than me. But that's my
Yeah,
thought, at
absolutely.
least.
Absolutely. Go hard, be aggressive. You know, you never want to fail as, you know, a submissive player. If you're going to fail, fall hard, you know, be aggressive in everything you do, attack it. That's something that Coach Kip Simons preaches often. Attack everything with aggression, and, you know, eventually you'll find your way to your feet, right?
Yep. Judge is taking some time here. Go ahead,
Yep,
go ahead, sorry.
absolutely. My bad. Yeah, we got Jaden Blank of Army up next. Let's see what he's got to offer.
Oh, nice first pass. 3.5.
Big one there. You don't see that often.
You do not see that at all.
Sit down there. That'll cost him a point total. See if he can get it back here. Much better. Good recovery pass right there.
There we go. Chris, how hard is it, you know, trying to get a full floor routine done within the time limit?
Yeah, the constraints are difficult. You're trying to pack as much execution and difficulty into it as possible. And, you know, that's what the preseason is all about. You know, you're trying to manage that time as well as make your routine as powerful as you can. And that's on you and your coach to decide what's the best method of approach. Finishing up here, big triple full, small step.
Nice triple full.
Overall, decent routine. We had a small bobble there on that double front and that second pass, but he managed the damage control there quite well. Strong showing for West Point.
Up next, we got Colby Prince. Fought his way into the lineup. Didn't get any action last year, but clearly grinded over the summer and looks great so far this season. Made the event finals of the West Point Open and did well, so expecting a big set from here. As we get deeper into the lineup, you know, start values are going to start increasing and expect some bigger scores. So we'll see what Colby has. If anybody should be sticking some, I think Colby will be the one. So hopefully I didn't not give him a jinx there, but I knocked on wood, so it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been super rigid, super solid on his landings. We're looking for him to capitalize here today, a meet that truly matters for both teams. He knows the job that needs to be done, and we'll see what he's got in the bag.
Also, his first star meet that he's competing in, so interesting feeling. But probably a lot of emotions going on for him. So,
Absolutely. Pressure makes diamonds. Here we go.
all
Solid
right, nice
first
first
pass.
pass.
Yeah.
There we go with the sticks. One stick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good non-acrobatic work there in the corner.
Too dark. Way too dark. Yeah.
Nice little show of strength there for the crowd.
No. Well, I didn't use it for track today either, just because of that reason.
Nice.
Stick. Add it to the bank. Colby Prince managing this well. Let's see how he can wrap it up.
Interesting. Got a little shaky there. Found his feet, which is the most important thing. Um, Overall, good set. I would say. What you think, Fritz?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously looking for more sticks, but, he managed it well. When he did hop, he tried to keep it as small as possible. And, the distance between your feet or how far you hop really does mean that much. That can be the difference between 1/10, 3/10, 5/10, or a whole point if you were to fall completely. So, we're in the business as gymnasts to mitigate those losses as much as we can. And I think Colby definitely capitalized on that in that set. We'll see how the judges feel about it as the score populates. And up next, we will be on to West Point.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said earlier, we're getting to that point in the lineup where we'll start seeing a little higher start values, some bigger skills. Excited to see how that plays out. Both teams looking good so far. Just trying to get that ball rolling. Trying to manage all those emotions and feelings from the first event. The national anthem, line in, pre-meet chants, all that stuff is still kind of fresh. So usually it takes a rotation or two to get settled into the meet. Um, so see how they handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. For those of you that aren't familiar with men's gymnastics as a whole, usually how that lineup is strategized by the coaches is you'll have, you know, um, really, really strong performers with maybe lower start values to start off. And then as you go through that lineup, you start to see larger and larger skills until you get to your last guy, which is deemed the anchor spot. And that's the guy, that's supposed to wrap up that whole rotation, has the biggest set, biggest start value, that wow factor that we're looking for. So you'll see more aggressive gymnastics as we go through. Big first
Nice double
pass
front,
there.
nice kick out. You don't see people kicking out of that too often.
Absolutely. That's a rarity for sure. Solid tumbling
pass.
there. Good. Little bouncy, little bouncy.
Yeah, so far really solid set. It looks like.
Absolutely. Small little bobble there on the handstand. Again, like Dhiren said, we're looking for those holds. Judge wants to see control through the handstand. Moving on to our next pass. Solid
Nice.
stick there. Time to wrap it up. Let's see what West Point's got. Big triple full there at the end. Little step there. Overall, great set, great response by Army. I'm not going to be too quick to jump here, Dhiren, but, this looks like a pretty equal matchup on floor. We'll see how the rest of the meet shakes out. But, that's the important thing about this match, and what I was saying at the beginning is forget about the start values. Forget about your high of the season. With two teams that are as invested as these two are, it doesn't matter what your numbers looked like in the past. This is a new meet. These are two teams that haven't seen each other in a head-to-head format before yet this season, and every single tenth, every single point matters, and it's just more than gymnastics. It's the rich rivalry and tradition, and both teams are lobbying for that star. Up next, we've got Matthew Rosendahl of the Naval Academy. He's out of Maryland himself. He's a local boy. I trained with him my entire life. He's a very close friend of mine. Let's see what he's got. Big first pass there.
There we go, Matt. Keep it going. Trust it now. Let's go.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to see Matt, come into his own as a Navy men's gymnast and an athlete in general. He's improved so much over the years. Looking really good here so far.
Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure to see his growth and development over the years. We've been training together since we were under 10 years old. I've known this guy my entire life, and his growth has been tremendous. And now he's a senior at the Naval Academy, getting ready to go to flight school after graduation, and it's just an incredible thing. Overall, solid set so far. Great show of strength and control there with the press handstand, exactly what the judge is looking for. Still cooking.
Nice back.
Absolutely crushing so far. Let's see how he can wrap it up here. This is Matthew Rosendahl, final pass.
He might go crazy with a good stick here, maybe.
Very, very
I
slow.
don't know.
I don't
Are
think
they
he's
raising
gonna
the flag?
get it.
Nah.
I don't think he gets the stick bonus, but he loves it. The team's going wild. Matthew
team
loves
loves
it. He knows it's going to be a good score. That's exactly what we want to see out of our team. Those consistent landings, high start values, and that's how you bring the bread home. Absolutely great response.
Yep, but like you were saying earlier, Fritz, just like with the Army-Navy football game, what some of you guys might be more familiar with, like no matter how the teams are doing that year, it somehow always seems like it's like a super close game, Like
Absolutely.
this meet is just like it's a different type of energy. You gotta throw everything else out. It's just like so emotional, and it can go either way. So we just gotta see how these two teams, deal with the pressure and move on throughout the rotation. So here we go.
Big
Nice
half
full
in,
out.
half out there. Good stuff. Two solid passes off the rip.
Looks very in control. It's one thing that stands out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to tip my hat to West Point. They've done a great job this offseason at really cleaning everything up. That's how they've been focusing on their technique and execution, and it looks like it's paying off for them so far. Nice pass there. Really crushing those landings. He's really taking control of this routine. Still more gymnastics to do, but I like what I see so far.
One thing also stands out to me. He looks really clean in the air.
Absolutely.
Legs together, toes pointed. Pretty impressive.
Couldn't agree more. That's just a phenomenal set right there. He loves it. I know his team's going to love it. And, that's exactly what I was saying before. It might not be as big on paper, but he's controlling those landings, and that's how you catch up. If you execute better with a smaller start value than a bigger start value with sloppy execution, you're going to make your money there. And they're going to do it 10 times out of 10 because that's what Army's all about. And they do a great job at it.
We got Sam coming up here. Was All-American last year, which is super impressive. One of the first All-Americans in Navy history for, I think, first maybe 40, 50, 60 years, something crazy like that. So super impressive. And on this event, we'll be heading to the University of Michigan next year to cash in on that COVID year while he goes to grad school there. Also a very rare occurrence at the Naval Academy. So expecting a big set from him here.
Absolutely. Sam's potential has been tremendous. His growth has been tremendous. He'll be taking his talents to the maize and blue next year, as Dhiren said. We're excited to see what he's got. First pass from Sam. Big
Good
2.5 to open up. Very solid second pass, really working that bounding, tumbling off the rip.
Keep it going now. Let's go.
Oof.
I wanted that stick. It looked like he had it for a second there, D.
I thought he had it. I thought he had it.
Gamer.
Triple rushing here. Fritz, what do you think about that triple rushing versus like, traditional press handstand?
Just another opportunity to build difficulty in the routine. It's, less taxing on the gymnast as maybe another strength element. They get to swing their body, especially if they're talented at pommel horse, and he's just taking advantage of that. I think it's a smart idea because he's a very talented horse swinger as well.
I agree.
Large hop there. Overall, working the bounding pretty well. He's got to mitigate these hops here. Let's see what he can do to finish up. Big triple full with a stick. That's a green bean right there. Judge raises the green flag. The team's going wild. Sam loves it. Hay is in the barn. That is what you love to see out of our anchor performer, Sam Baradagunta.
First stuck dismount, I believe. Right? I think so. Well, for Navy at a minimum, that's for sure.
Yep. Put it
And
in
the
the
triple
bank.
full.
Put it in the bank. Love to see it.
Love to see that, yep. A little hoppy overall. Like we had that big hop in the corner off the 2.5, but he saved it with the dismount. Big stick, gonna get that bonus. Should be a pretty good score.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what we were talking about before. Coach Kip strategically puts this lineup in place the way that it is so that your heavier hitters come at the end and they capitalize on that. And that's a great team momentum builder. That's a great boost of score, and they're going to ride that all the way into pommel horse. Nice half in, half out to open up from West Point. Good. Again with the hops, looks clean in the air, but we're looking for those stuck landings.
Nice hold. Solid. Nice little flare with the full pirouette there.
Absolutely.
I can appreciate it.
A little bit of retro throwback. Solid so far. Just absolutely drilling these landings. Solid set there.
That's interesting.
For Army, he likes it. Sounds like the team likes it. We'll see when these scores populate where we're standing after the first rotation. D, tell me a little bit what you think about how that first rotation went.
Like we said earlier, it's a bit hoppy. We mentioned it multiple times. A bit hoppy, but overall, can't be upset with that. When there was a mistake, the next person up stopped the bleeding. That's all you can ask for. So, looks like the team's got a lot of energy right now. You couldn't ask for any more. We'll see the scores, how they match up here. But like we said before, it's really going to come down to the wire in this one. So, onto horse. And another thing, after an event, when it's done, you got to just move on to the next event. That's how the sport goes. So, probably going to forget about floor here and just focus on horse, which is, could go either way all the time. So,
absolutely, truly a variable ride on the pommel horse. I know for a fact that neither Dhiren or I did pommel horse at the Naval Academy. Nope. It takes a special breed of dude to be that good at the horse. And it looks like we have
you know what they call it, right?
What do they call it?
You know what they call it? The great equalizer.
The equalizer,
great
indeed.
Equalizer. Yeah, the horse is the great equalizer. So maybe posting a 64.25, it looks like, on floor.
Yep.
Army score has not come in yet.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that last score to populate for Army, so don't be too attached to the score results after the first rotation. But I like the way you said that, D. It truly is an equalizer. I've seen head-to-head meets go either way, and upsets happen just solely based off this event. It's unpredictable. These athletes train this apparatus so hard with such critiquing detail, and it is just such a difficult apparatus. I think any logical, reasonable gymnast would say this is definitely one of the harder of the six. And even at the Olympic level, at the national competition level, you see some of the greats fall, and you see some of the weaker gymnasts succeed, and it can go either way. I'll give a quick shout out
Yep.
to one of our Maryland. Dhiren and I are both from Maryland. One of Maryland's own from PG County, Coy Young, taking home the silver medal at this year's World Championships. You love to see it, especially on an event like that. I know Dhiren and I both hold Coy to our heart near and dear. He's a great kid and destined for great things over at Stanford.
For sure. Shout out PG County Public Schools, PG County Parks and Rec. You know,
are you plugging it right now?
They created a legend. They created a legend, so still has a lot. Coy, I mean, he has so much left in the tank. He's so young, you know. But shout out to Coy. But yeah, 64.25 for Navy. Pretty good. I mean, around what they usually score. You know, they usually like to see 65 or a little higher for them on floor, but not bad at all. Good start. And you know, for me, I always kind of would hold my breath when we were on horse, you know, because it just like it's so quick to kick you off.
Yeah. Oh,
like it just isn't. It is not forgiving at all. You know how we were talking about on floor, you could be a little more reserved or a little more powerful, and you can still be okay. With horse, it seems like if you're slightly off, you know, that might be it for you.
Absolutely.
So, see how it goes here.
Yep. Looks like we're rotating into the pommel horse with our first starter, Blaze Kennedy of the Black Knights. Let us see how he will kick this apparatus off.
Come on, Blaze.
By the way, that last score populated for Army, we're sitting at 64.25 for the Midshipmen of the Naval Academy and a 62.55 for the Black Knights of Army.
Blaze has a nice swing, nice rhythm to him.
Absolutely. Hips look opened up. Doesn't look skewed on the horse very much. Again, I'm not a judging type on this apparatus because I didn't do it much, but overall, very aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. Got a nice swing to him.
Nice. Yeah, you know, we'll probably get into it a lot down the stretch here, but, you know, you want to see that dismount fly up to handstand. No pauses, no hitting. That's ideal. So he did handle that really well, especially for a first guy up, to be honest. So
yeah, absolutely
looks good. I mean, I know our guys focus on it a lot. I'm sure every team does, because at the end of a pommel set, it is hard to get that dismount up.
100%. Lactic acid buildup, arms feel like pasta noodles, and the last thing that you got to do is get it up to handstand to get off that thing. And it's a difficult, tall order to ask for, but these gymnasts manage it well, and you just saw from Blaze Kennedy that he did just fine. Up next, we have William Champagne of the Naval Academy. Big swinger here, nice and clean. Let's see what he's got. Managed the scissors well, getting into his rhythm here as he starts his routine.
Will has that pommel body, that tall, you know, long body that just looks really nice on horse.
Absolutely. Little
Good
bobble
fight
there. Oh, double pirouette dismount to finish. Great fight there. As Dhiren was saying, we like to see that, you know, butter smooth, effortless momentum up to handstand, and we saw him fight for it a little bit there, so the judges are going to be looking at that. But overall, decent swing, good set, and, you know, managed it well there at the end. And, you know, back to Dhiren's point about, you know, that aesthetic look of a gymnast on the pommel horse. The judges tend to like those taller, slender dudes that swing around the horse well. It's very easy on the eyes. They swing well, and Will's definitely got that build, D. I'll tell you, you got that one right.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like Army has some cadets in the house in Halsey. That's nice to see.
Oh, yeah, I see them posted up there in the back. That's always good, a little bit of representation from the away team.
For sure. Nice scissor work to start. Nice routine so far here.
Absolutely. Swinging well. A little bit of a leg set there, but working through it well. Not bad on the dismount. Overall, pretty clean set. He's going to take a little hit there at the end for that non-fluid dismount as he rose up in a handstand. But a really, really strong set from Nick Lester of Army there. Very solid.
Yeah, we got Blaze Kennedy score with a 12-1, 14-6 start value. So pretty good. Judges are being pretty tough, it seems. 2.5 deductions. But that's how horse is. Sometimes, depending on the judge, could go either way. But as long as they're consistent, that's what really matters. Oh, and they're gonna make him redo the dismount here.
So for those of you at home that don't quite understand what just happened there after he got off the horse, if the judge deems the horse inconsistent in a manner that it disqualifies the skill as a whole, they will make the athlete repeat the dismount. So that's what you just saw there. So not only did he lose some value of his routine for having to repeat, but he also did not do the pirouetting dismount to finish, so he will lose a little bit more on top of that. Bit of a penalty there, but there's still plenty of lineup to go. I wouldn't sweat it too much. They still got more gymnastics to do. Up next, we have Matthew Petros from the Naval Academy. D, I love this guy. What do you think about him?
Man, this guy is one of those guys who just puts his head down and grinds. Doesn't
Absolutely.
talk much. Pretty quiet guy, but man, he is really good. He's really coming to his own here in his sophomore campaign. He's been putting up some big numbers, and this routine is looking great so far.
Absolutely. Gorgeous. Get it over. Well executed. He's going to love it. Coach Reed's going to love it. The team's going to love it. That is a textbook Naval Academy horse routine right there. Couldn't have drawn it any better myself.
Yeah, not too difficult, not too much, stuff going on, but super clean. I mean, maybe you might find some deductions in, position while swinging, maybe slightly piked, but I didn't see any leg separations, not a knee bend. I mean, that was really clean. So I think the judges are going to like that one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well-managed routine right there. We're going to see a decent score. I think, out of the two scores that we already have listed with Nick Lester's coming in, I would imagine that Matthew Petros is going to, come in with a comparable score, if not anything a little bit higher. I think the judges are going to like that one.
Yep. This routine coming up is very unique. You guys are going to see it right away. It's extremely difficult and one of my favorite things to watch on horse specifically.
I'm excited to see the way you're talking about it. I have no familiarity with this gymnast, but we'll see what's up.
Yeah, you'll see.
Good scissor work. Ooh.
Yeah, so he's going to get into the flares here.
Love to see it.
I don't think it really takes a rocket scientist to see how difficult that is, even if you don't understand the sport. I mean, he's doing what the other guys are doing in a flare. And, man, that's hard. It's really hard. Looking good here. Huge flares, too.
Very big. For those of you that don't understand, that flare is when there's an open leg position while they're circling around the horse. Beautiful routine, strong finish. Gabe Alameda, very, very good. Nick Lester's score coming in at a 10.8 for Army. Like I said, he's going to take that big hit there for that dismount. The judge deemed it invalid, had to repeat. But Gabe Alameda responding well for West Point. Definitely going to pick up the slack there. Very strong showing.
Yeah, we got freshman Brian Solomon coming up next. I visited the gym in December, and Brian was having some ankle issues, and I saw him grinding away pommel horse with a boot and ankle weights on. So, extremely hard worker. He's going to find a way to get it done. Wants to be out there, so I'm excited to see how this set goes.
Yeah, for those of you out there, Brian Solomon is the son of the great Nancy Kerrigan, United States of America Olympic figure skater. For those of you that like USA sport, he's a very talented gymnast, following suit after his mother. Very, very strong work out of Brian. Let's see what he's got.
We'll get the scores when we transition to ranks. They have a 4-minute touch in between the two.
Nice rhythm here. Something that stands out to me right away.
Absolutely. Much shorter gymnast, as you can see, but really opening up the hips and showing his length there, looking really solid on the horse so far.
Nice dismount. Yeah, so this was another type of dismount. It's a Russian dismount instead of a handstand. So he's not risking, that handstand, trying to get that handstand up at the end of the set. It's three Russians, and you want to see your body come to a 45-degree angle before you land on your feet. That's what the judges are looking for. He got pretty close. Judges might take one or two, not quite sure. But overall, solid set, solid rhythm, clean, pretty solid difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, good start. Yeah.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. He managed that well. And I will make a comment because Matthew Petros' score just came in, clocked in at a 13.05, which is, an entire point higher across the board from anybody that's competed. And, we didn't see the biggest gymnastics out of him, but what he did was he executed in a clean and concise manner that it allowed him to afford a score like that. Up next, we've got Maddox Pabellin from Army, and we will see what he's got to offer.
Yeah, a former teammate of Navy's own Ronan McQuillan, pushing out some serious pommel workers down in Texas. So, see what Maddox has today.
Big skill to start off there.
Right off the bat.
I didn't know that they were fellow teammates. That's some good information there, D.
Yep.
Really worked that well. Dismount swung right up into handstand. He's going to love it. I'll be interested to see in a head-to-head between Maddox and Ronan. We'll see him at the end of the lineup for the Naval Academy, who's going to take the cake there because that was a solid set right there. So Ronan's going to need to respond.
Yeah, for sure. Sam is also no slouch on horse,
Oh, absolutely.
I think last weekend or the Navy Open put up a really big set. He's been, just getting better and better at horse. Not mainly, but big floor guy, obviously, like we said, All-American last year. But he is no slouch on vault, horse, and high bar at that. So excited to see what Sam has here. He's going to put some pressure on the other guys. Put some pressure on Army to respond.
Absolutely. Overall, solid showing across the board so far. I like what I'm seeing from both sides. Sam knows the job that needs to be done right now, and we're going to see what he's got. One thing to note is Sam's cleanliness amongst the difficulty that he brings to this routine. He's very keen on gluing his legs together and keeping that rigid body position as he navigates the leather. Little leg separation there, but overall looking pretty sturdy on the horse so far. Much better there.
Yeah, that was a great fight. That could have been a fall easily. He really fought. That was impressive.
Absolutely. Good Russian work there. Get that handstand up. Absolutely textbook. Good. Tried to go for that second pirouette there at the end. Decided to call it off. I think it was a smart decision. That's going to be a great score. Solid routine. Love what I'm seeing out of the guy.
For sure. Yeah, all you can ask for is, you fight, and you never just give up, and that's what you saw right there. Through the Roth and the dismount, they both were not 100% on. They were slightly off, and he fought through it, put up a decent set for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Up next, we've got Noah Dhiren from Army.
Well, I mean, he's like 22, but it's a seasoned freshman, if you will. Yeah. Did some time in Minnesota. Transferred in here.
Nice long-bodied circles here. Definitely very easy on the eyes. Looking good. Legs are glued. Toes are pointed. Absolutely hammering one skill after another. He is swimming through this set. You know why they save him for last. He looks good so far. He's going to work his way back along the leather. It's a good set so far, D.
It is.
Got to get that handstand up.
I think
Fell
the
off
judges
there at
might
the
make
end a
him
little
do
bit.
that one. I think they might make him, they're going to make him redo that. That was a
Think?
good-looking set, man.
That was excellent all the way up there till the end there. Looks like he's going to be coming back for another Another go. Good call by Dhiren there. So he will take that penalty there, and now we're in the business of risk mitigation and damage control. We're going to try to execute a nice clean handstand here for West Point. That's all that matters to save that score from an otherwise excellent routine. Much better management. If only you could go back and replicate, but he handled it well. Noah Dhiren, everybody.
Maddox with a huge 13-7. That's a huge score on the horse. 15-4 start value. Ronan is pushing a start value very similar to that, if not maybe a tenth or two less, unless he has something in store that I'm not aware of today. But he is the anchor man for a reason, to say the least. Huge horse swinger, NCAA finalist. You know, going to be very interesting to see what he has to offer here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Ronan's one of those guys where, you know, when he sees that a job needs to be done, he's going to go fill that role. No different here, especially in a moment like the Army-Navy meet. He sees his ex-teammate put up a 13-7, and he's going to chase it. You know, he's going to throw down something big here, and he's about that work. So let's see what he's got to offer.
Not to mention, was recruited solely to do horse. So, you know, he's got to be good.
Absolutely. Nice.
And as you can tell by his swing. Right, exactly.
Yep. Absolutely. It's exactly what we're looking for.
Man, he's looking dialed in right now. Absolutely. Super dialed in.
Good work on a single handle. Good travels along the leather. Those legs are glued together. He's going to work his way back. He's going to wrap this thing up. He's going to attack it. Bring it around. Excellent job there.
He's going to be happy with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
I know he wanted those pirouettes at the end, but you know, it wasn't in the cards. But you know, not the end of the road by any means. I mean, still a great set. I've hardly seen any deductions, and he got the dismount up. That's all Coach Reed and Coach Kip, Coach Craig can ask for. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think otherwise an incredible set again. You know, really showing his teeth there on why he is the anchor man. And yeah, to Dhiren's point, he was recruited for pommel horse and pommel horse only. Dhiren and I spent 2 years on the team with him, and we never saw him touch anything except for the leather. I couldn't imagine Ronan on another event, but you know, we're seeing now why he is the way that he is on his single event. Up next, we're going to see a showcase routine from John Wenneborn. This will not count towards total score. This is something that the coaches are allowed to do to give a member of their team more experience, a little bit of a rehearsal rep in front of a large crowd, so that when they are ready to utilize that gymnast, they feel a little bit more prepared having something like this under their belt. So that's why you're seeing another gymnast from the Naval Academy side.
Yep, John was a staple in the pommel horse lineup our senior season, so 21-22 season. John was a staple in that horse lineup. Had a injury and is coming back from that. You can see his wrists are braced up. So John's trying to get back from this injury and hopefully get back in that lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a little bit plagued by injury, tough on the wrists, as pommel horses for a lot of individuals. Unfortunately, John had to take last year off for the most part while he recovered. But he's back, he's better, he's healthy, and I'm excited to see what he has, because this could be, you know, a nice showcase here that Navy can keep as a secret weapon as they go throughout the season. Here is John Wenneborn for his showcase set on the pommel horse.
Looking good so far. Nice and clean, simple. Nice routine.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think that Coach Reed and Coach Kip definitely have a spot for him in that lineup there. He's got some more refining to do, maybe pack in some difficulty. And, you know, we're not even halfway through the season yet. He's got so much potential. It's his first year, or a senior rather. And I know they want to utilize him to his fullest extent. All right, looks like we are turning after the second rotation. We will be on to the still rings next. Just to recap, good showing on both sides from the Pommel horse. We're still waiting on that last score to populate for the Naval Academy, but West Point clocks in at a 60.8. Overall, pretty solid. As you can see from the first rotation, the Naval Academy took it by about 2 points there, just under 2 points. The Naval Academy just populated their final score on the horse, and they will clock in at a 63.7. So Navy up 2 after 2 rotations. As a total, we got 127.95 for the Naval Academy to West Point's 123.35. We've got about 4 points, 4.6 in separation. Still plenty of gymnastics to go. I know we've got a couple heavy hitters for the still rings over at the Naval Academy. And D, if you know anything about the guys from West Point that you can speak to who we're looking for, please chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too well versed on their rings lineup, but I know our rings lineup is in sort of a rebuild, if you will. Sometimes when you have a senior upper class heavy lineup, when those guys graduate, you got to build up the strength of those younger guys, because rings is one of those events where it just takes time to get strong. There's no way around it. There's only so much swinging you can do on rings. The big scores and big start values come when you start adding a lot of strength, and a lot of guys come into college not really having that strength yet, and it takes some time to develop. So that's kind of where Navy's at right now in terms of rings. We will see how they match up with Army here. Like I said, not too well versed in their lineup, but we'll see very soon. Navy has a 4 points and 6/10 lead right now as we go into the third rotation. So we'll get a better idea of how the teams stack up after the halfway point after this third rotation here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great point that you brought up about, especially with this event alone, the maturation process that it can occur over your tenure at your institution. You come in as an 18-year-old dude, and a lot of these male gymnasts aren't really peaking until 20, 21, 22 years old. There's still more strength to expand upon, and how much more talent comes out towards the back end of your tenure at your respective college, and trying to give those young guys as many sets and as many reps as possible to really build that up in that generational investment, so you have strong lineups across the board on this event. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, I can't speak to Army's lineup too much, but I know for the Naval Academy, I'm definitely looking forward to senior Eric Engelke and junior Riley Rose. Riley especially for his big swing. He's a taller gymnast, swings the rings well. Eric Engelke, senior at the Naval Academy, has a great show of strength. Just excited across the board as a whole because, I just love the Army-Navy meet so much. Of course, I love the Naval Academy. I'm biased a little bit, but rings is one of those events that I truly do love. And in the great words of another incredible gymnast at the Naval Academy, great class of 2022, Alexander Brown, I will say that the big dogs gotta eat.
Yep, that is a fact. That is a fact. Rings is one of those events where, it's kind of hard to fall off on. You're kind of just giving every strength move everything you got, because it takes so much physical strength to do these skills. So it's one of those events where you kind of just let your nerves kind of fuel you, instead of you trying to reserve your adrenaline. Just let it all come out and be as strong as you can, hold all those strength skills, and then of course stick to dismount at the end of the day. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think that the crowdsourcing and the team energy as well can really propel these gymnasts throughout their routine. Rings is one of those unique apparatuses. You see those iron crosses, those crazy strength skills, and the gymnasts on that apparatus can really feed off that energy. I know, Dhiren, you can probably speak to this as a rings competitor. I'm sure those crosses feel a lot lighter in meet than they do in practice.
Oh yeah, that is an understatement. Sometimes you think in a meet you can do skills that you never even thought about doing. That's just like the level of adrenaline that you have in that moment. It's kind of funny too because when you're doing a rings routine in a meet, you hold everything like a second or half a second longer, and next thing you know, by the dismount, it all catches up to you. You're like, oh goodness, this might be an issue, and you just
Absolutely.
hope you could just put it on your feet. So, uh,
Absolutely. I would say the only exception of that clause is another great member from the Naval Academy, class of 2019, Christian Coriel. For whatever reason, that strength looked 10 times harder in meet than it did in practice. If you're listening to this, Squirty, we love you very much. An absolute great legacy member, team captain of our 2019 team.
for sure. First up, we got Danilo. We saw him on floor. He's gonna bring a nice clean set. Nothing's gonna be too crazy with the strength moves, but it's gonna be clean, and that's what Coach Craig Holt is gonna be expected from him. So
Absolutely. And sometimes that's all you need, out of your first guy out of the gate on the apparatus. Just a nice, clean, bang-up routine. Nothing too crazy. Just get the job done. It'll be great momentum for the team moving forward.
there you go, some good Yamawakis. Like I was saying, a nice swing. You didn't see him get caught up in those Yamawakis. Nice fluid, nice rhythm to this routine, nice handstand. Looks good so far.
Nice long swing through that giant, showing his holds. Duck dismount. Crowd loves it. Team loves it. I know Coach Craig is going to love that as well. And, like we were saying before the set, that's all you can ask for. Somebody that doesn't have as much difficulty on this event. Do your job, get in, get out, put up a nice clean score. And I think that'll pay off well for Danilo there.
Yeah, that was a very good routine. I mean, hard to find deductions. I think the judges are going to like that. Maybe one short hold if that's just, surface view. Of course, the judges are going to see everything a little bit deeper, but good start. And, of course, the stick. So hopefully they can get a little stick train going here. Why not, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Blaze Kennedy up next for the Black Knights. We'll see what he's got in the bag. We'll see what kind of response he can put up against Danilo Viciana of the Naval Academy. That's why I really like this head-to-head format. It adds more pressure, more tension, and everything seems really responsorial. How, it's one from one team right into the next from another. And it really makes for a good, combat format almost. Like you really feel like you're going head-to-head with the other team.
Yep. Nice routine here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty high Yamawakis. Yeah, pretty high Yamawakis. Looks nice. Nice swing. I like that his arms are locked out. That's one thing that you can notice right away on rings, whether or not somebody has bent arms. Ooh, good response.
Absolutely. I'd say somewhat pretty comparable routines. Not the craziest strength in the set. Looked a lot like Viciana's from the Naval Academy, and an incredible response to his set. And that Army's in the business of doing that. When they see the call, they're going to respond to that. And like I've said since the beginning of this stream, both of these teams are in the business of damage control. And it's not about who's better on paper, it's about who's better today. And both of these teams are competing against each other.
Yeah, but next we got Julian Galvez, somebody that is very important to me. I've known him since he was about like the height at my waist, because he was very small. So I love to see him here at the academy in general, but even more love to see him in the lineup. He brings a nice, clean routine. Again, nothing too crazy with the strength yet, but he's very strong. I know Coach Craig and the coaching staff is going to build up his strength, and he's going to be a force in years to come. He's only a freshman, so see what he has here.
So stay tuned. Yeah, I remember Dhiren and I are from the same region, so I've seen this guy compete his entire life. I wasn't personal teammates with him, but I concur with what Dhiren's saying. Very talented gymnast, limitless potential. Looks good so far off the bat. You can see how his legs are glued. Great swinging, locked out arms. Rolling
Nice.
through his Yamawakis just fine.
Last week had a little problem with those Yamawakis, but fought through it. Seemed to be a lot easier today for him, so must have had a good week at practice. Looking super solid here. Rings are not moving.
and just ripping it. You know, Dhiren, you called it before the set. He's got potential. He's strong, and you can see it. I love what I see from a freshman, Julian Galvez there. Beautiful set. And, you know, I will add that the stick train is indeed rolling. That's 2 in a row for Navy. We've got 1 for Army. Nick Lester up next. Let's see how much longer we can keep this stick train rolling. I love what I'm seeing from both sides so far.
For sure. You know, people don't really understand how much sticks can add to your team score. You know, for one, you can get a little bonus, and then you also don't have the deduction from the step. So, you know, you're looking at a 310 plus swing on every routine. Say you stick every routine. So sticks are extremely important. So good sign that the midshipmen are sticking early here. Hopefully, like Fritz said, they can keep it going.
Absolutely. You know, one time when I was a younger gymnast, I had a coach explain it to me like this. If you dropped a quarter out of your pocket every single day for the rest of your life, and you added up how much money that would be by the time you're on your deathbed, that's exactly what it's like, the difference between sticking and stepping at the end of a routine. You're just leaving money on the table there that you don't even realize that you're losing.
For sure. Good analogy there.
Yeah.
This is also looking good, man. I mean,
I'm loving it so
not
far.
much. Yeah.
Oh, small step
Small
there on the
little step.
landing. But overall, a very solid routine.
Oh yeah, for sure. Would have loved to get that stick, but can't ask for much more. I mean, these lineups, like we said in the beginning, I mean, they're pretty comparable, star value wise. So it's really going to come down to those little things, you know, sticking, holding, you know, how much of the ring swinging, stuff like that. So
Yeah, I'd say very comparable performance from both teams so far. So it's really going to come down to drilling those landings and how well you're executing the skills. As we navigate the rest of the lineup, you will start to see a little bit more strength. Like I mentioned, I know senior Eric Engelke at the end of our lineup's got some good strength elements. But, you know, overall, just both teams really swinging the apparatus well, holding where they need to, swinging where they need to, and sticking where they need to as well. They're just lobbying against each other right now. It's good stuff.
yeah, we got a 12.85 from Blaze Kennedy. Still waiting on Julian's score. If I had to guess, I would guess that Julian would probably take the lead here. But we'll see. Got
We shall
Riley
see.
up.
This is my guy right here. Love Riley Rose. Nice tall gymnast. Has beautiful lines though. Swings big. Has a nice looking dismount. Looking for him to stick that. But overall moving really well through this routine so far. Big long hangs. Big Yamawakis. No catch up whatsoever.
Yeah, Riley's a big guy. If you guys haven't seen him, I mean, you can tell how tall he looks. He has a lot of weight to be carrying on those rings, so those strength moves are a little bit harder for him.
Look at it. Look at it. Please believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the greedy. I love it. Great set from Riley
He's
Rose.
fired up.
I called it. The team loves it. Oh, so happy to see something like that.
Oh yeah, the
Great showing.
train is definitely on its way, that's for sure. That is a hard dismount to stick. It's a blind landing, so you know you don't see the ground before your feet hit it. So you kind of spot something in front of you like that, you know, the wall or a flag or something like that. So very hard to stick. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it takes a lot of precision on those blind landings, like Dhiren said. Managed it well. I will add that is 3 out of 3 stuck landings for the midshipmen of the Naval Academy so far. Let's see how West Point responds. Up next, you have Gabe Alameda.
Doing that strength and still having it with the press together and straight arm. This is the type of gymnastics we like to see out of Gabe. All right, let's see if it's 2 more skills. What can he do? Put it down.
Looking solid. Again, a little step. You know, really trying to get those sticks in, but cannot be upset with that. I'm sure the coach staff is very happy with that.
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer.
So we've yet to see somebody break the 13s. That's kind of that threshold. You know, you want to see people scoring in the 13s, if not high 13s, if not 14s. You know, so we'll
Why
see who
not?
can get the closest. Yeah, why not? We'll see who can get the closest here. I was wrong about Julian's score, so maybe I'll just leave the judging to the judges here and keep my mouth shut. Uh,
Still a solid set, though. And, you're seeing 2 scores populated for each team. They look pretty comparable across the board. I think Army has just a little bit of an edge so far. More gymnastics to be done. I'm excited to see Riley score, though, hoping that he will break that 13 barrier, as Dhiren mentioned. Up next, we have William Champagne showing our first iron cross of the day.
Will's got one of those builds similar to Riley, just super tall and long. So you want to see him really, emphasize those swinging skills. And same dismount. Okay, little hop, but still nice. Very small hop.
Somebody with the camera in the way a little bit, but overall we can still see the landing there. Solid set. Elegant Violence hoodie. Shout out to Navy men's rugby team. We love them.
Yeah, also shout out to Navy track and field, also competing for the star today in Annapolis. And there you go,
true.
Riley Rose. Yeah,
There it
they're
is.
competing right now.
That's right.
Riley
That
Rose
usually-
13-2.
That usually happens every year, doesn't it? We line up on the same weekend with them.
Pretty much, yeah, more or less. Whether it's in Annapolis or at West Point, we're usually with them. So you see Riley with a 13-2. So finally, we got somebody breaking into 13s. That's ideal. We'll see what we have here. Jaden Blank up next for Army.
Quick rise into that L. Clean so far. Smooth swinging through those Yamawakis. Very comparable sets to the Naval Academy. We're seeing that quick show of strength right into our swinging elements. They're going to press to handstand. They're going to hit their giants, and then they're going to dismount off the apparatus. It's enough to do the job. It's just a battle of who's cleaner.
For sure. There we go. Stick for Army. And then still waiting a few scores, so we'll catch up with those at the end. But we got Eric Engelke, Fritz, you talked about him earlier, anchoring today for the mids. Anything to say about him, Fritz?
Yeah, love his growth. He's really matured into his potential as he wraps up his last year at the Naval Academy. Super proud of this guy. Hard worker in and out of the gym. I know he cares a lot about his team and a lot about our culture, and you can see it in the way that he carries himself, and you can see it in the way that he competes. This is your anchor for the United States Naval Academy, Eric Engelke. Another iron cross there, flares out the fingertips to show that he is not using his wrist for support, which would be a deduction. Really commanding this routine off the bat. Rolling through his Yamawakis just fine. Need to see some lock arms here as we finish these giants. Very nice. He's gonna wrap this up with a nice dismount here. We have a small grip peel. The grip has ripped, unfortunately. We shall see what happens now. I believe that in the event that this happens, he will get the ability to put on a new pair of grips and conclude the routine. But we will see what the consensus is amongst the coaches and judges.
Yeah, so what do they got going on here?
I was just saying we had
Right.
a grip rip, so I think Eric has the option after this West Point competitor finishes his routine. He will be able to put on a new set of grips and complete the rest of the routine. He was on a front giant before his dismount, and I believe NCAA ruling is if he tears a grip in mid-set, he will be allowed to finish the routine.
Right. I think we had something similar happen our senior year. I believe you could have another person go with a point deduction potentially. I'm not sure. Not quite sure. We'll see. We'll see how the scoring looks after. This is looking real clean though.
Yeah.
Love the handstand.
Good lockout on the elbows.
Nice double layout. You don't see that off rings too often, but nice, well done. I mean, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gets the
nice
job
open
done there.
up. Yeah, see dismount. Same as the half and half out, which we've seen most people do, with the exception of Riley and Will. So I know for me personally, I had similar thoughts because I wasn't the greatest twister. So sometimes you got to turn to other skills that get the job done, like you said, Fritz, but play more to your strengths a little bit.
Yeah.
That might be what he's doing there, or he might just like it better, or has a better chance of sticking. You never know. So, well done, though. Well done.
Absolutely. You can see Isaiah Drake there at the chalk bucket next to Eric Engelke, not competing today due to an unforeseen injury in warm-up. Definitely a vital competitor here at the Naval Academy, but it looks like we're managing just fine without him. Sorely missed, very talented gymnast, and we're hoping that he gets healthy and he will be ready to go in the upcoming meets. Looks like we will be seeing Eric Engelke mount back up on the rings. Again, not sure about the specific NCAA ruling. We will see how this shakes out here, and we'll report as we go.
Yeah, and on that tip about Isaiah, that's why Coach Kip, and I'm sure most teams preach this next man up mentality. When somebody goes down, who's going to step up and get the job done? And, it's looking like the guys are getting it done today. And it's always important to have that mindset in your brain.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Definitely something that I forgot to touch on. You're definitely going to see that out of the military institutions and across the NCAA as a whole. Just because you're not necessarily starting and you might be an alternate doesn't mean that there's not the opportunity that you're going to go. It's just like being a backup goalie on any, hockey team or lacrosse team or soccer team. You never know what's going to happen, and you got to be ready at a moment's notice to strap up and get the job done. And we're seeing that here today with the Naval Academy, is that those guys do definitely get utilized, and you got to be ready for it.
Yep. And Eric's going to look to kind of clear his mind a little bit, just reset. He's had a little mistake, unfortunate event happen. However, you kind of just have to put that behind you, look forward. He might be a little tired right now, but the guys are going to get behind him, and hopefully he can just get this done.
Yeah, got the team screaming
and nail
for
the
him.
routine. Yeah.
Absolutely. You can hear the energy through the screen. Looks like he's going to start this thing back from the top with a new set of grips. I love the tenacity and the aggressiveness.
This is why you always have to have a backup pair of grips ready. Isn't that right, Fritz? Always got to
Exactly.
have a backup ready.
Absolutely. It's no different than being an alternate. You got to be ready to go. Whatever you got, you got to make it happen. We're seeing this right now that Eric Engelke has what it takes to make it happen. Swimming through the first half of this routine, trying to control that swing in the handstand a little bit. He's going to work this back giant, come through the front giant, and wrap this thing up, put a bow on it, and the team's going to love it.
Yep.
Bring it home here, Eric. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah, you love to see that, even after a mistake like that, is a little scary. You're not timid. You still are aggressive in your routine, and, it paid off. You got it done. So good job to Eric. Glad to see that he was able to regroup and recover like that.
Absolutely. For the people at home that don't really understand what just happened, I would chalk this up to the equivalent of you are about to run a race, and in the warm-up, you rip your shoe in half, and then someone's asking you to put a new pair of shoes on and then go run that exact same race. That's pretty much what he just did, just to analogize a little bit so you guys understand how serious that was. But an excellent response from Eric Engelke there. Very aggressive, as Dhiren said, and we're happy to see it. True warrior right there.
Yep, still waiting on the last score for Eric. Also, we're not too sure about how the rules are with going again. I'm pretty sure it's a 1 point, not to his score, but a point overall to the team score. So we'll see how that all plays out here. In a close meet like Star meet, something like that might actually matter. It's unfortunate because it was out of his hands. But just like any other sport, sometimes you don't have the rules. The rules don't always work in your favor, but we're just happy to see that he was able to. We're just happy that he was able to get back up, get it done, and knock it out. So, again, kudos to Eric.
That's right. At the end of the day, a score is a score. He did what he needed to do, even with the unforeseen circumstance. And like Dhiren said, we're just happy to see it. We want our gymnasts to succeed. This is a very low traction sport in the NCAA, and stuff like this is, it's proof how much we care about our sport, how much we care about our teams, how much we're trying to put men's gymnastics back on the map, and keep this sport alive and well. It's definitely, I can speak on my feelings, and Dhiren can touch on it as well. We love men's gymnastics. We care about it. We want it to stay around, even with these dying programs, and it's an incredible sport. Next event lineup.
We're at the halfway point. Yep.
Halfway point. Yeah, no. We are at the halfway point. We're turning on here to vault. We've got a solid lineup on our side. Again, can't speak too much to Army. Excited to see what we've got. We got some big action coming. It's a very, very fun event in my opinion. These routines last no more than 10-15 seconds. It's a quick trip down that runway. You hit the springboard, hit the table, and before you know it, your hand's up at the judge and your routine is over. So it'll be fast pace, a lot of action, big height, big air, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. At the halfway point, we have Navy leading by 5 points and 5/10. So it seems like a lot, but really, a few momentum going in one way or another could really scramble up the scores in this meet. So, far from over in this one. We're only halfway, like we said. So a lot of gymnastics to go. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, 100%. Not time to hold your breath yet. There's still plenty of gymnastics to go. We're only at the halfway point. There's a 6-point separation here, but, in the grand scheme of gymnastics, that's a drop in the bucket. Army has everything within arm's distance to close that gap. Navy's going to try to command that lead as much as they can and keep putting the pedal to the metal. And I'm excited to see how this back half goes. And folks, I want to say something real quick. You can see that crowd back there behind the vault. That is a regulation-sized lacrosse field, just to give an understanding of how many people are here in Halsey today. That is quite the crowd for a gymnastics meet. I'm happy to see it. The crowd is full. The energy is good. And here we go with Matthew Rosendahl on vault. Nice clean 1.5, small hop there. Nothing too crazy, but got the job done.
Yeah, nice clean start. Legs glued together, toes pointed. Yeah, I mean, nothing major deduction, probably be just a hop. What do you think, Fritz?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's textbook, exactly what the judges are looking for. Clean pre-fight, clean post-flight, solid landing. Again, it's not a high start value, but when you keep it as clean as you do, it's going to put up a decent number for the team.
Yep. Judges are also going to be looking at how these guys get onto the table, so keep an eye on how their legs are. So if their legs are separated together, we'll obviously want to see them together, but that's something the judges are looking at just to keep an eye out for at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing routine. Tiniest hop there. Gonna be a pretty good score, I would guess. And like I was saying about coming onto the table, that looked pretty good to me. Did you see anything, Fritz? Maybe this angle isn't the greatest, but it looked good from here.
Yeah, it's a tough angle to judge that pre-flight, but overall, great management. Like you said, small hop on the landing, solid stuff.
Yep, next we're going to see Daniel Gurevich from the Naval Academy, a freshman who has been very important, to the team so far. Brings a lot of potential to that freshman class. The whole freshman class is full of potential. So I'm excited to see how they all grow, and we'll see what Daniel has to offer here.
Absolutely.
Whoa! Nice stick there. He's going to be fired up after that one. Slight pike down, but overall very clean in the air. Pretty clean coming onto the table. Maybe a slight leg separation, but right down the middle, stuck landing. Great vault.
Absolutely. Love to see that green flag come up from the judges. That means that the landing has been stuck and they will get that stick bonus, as Dhiren has mentioned in previous rotations. And that's what you're looking for. Pre-flight might be a little sloppy, but at the end of the day, you execute a well-placed routine, get that landing, and do your team for your job. Tough
Clean
pass
vault
there.
there. Yeah, tough go.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. But like Dhiren said, clean in the air, the feet touched first, those hands come down sequentially, so he will take a hit on the misland, but overall did do a lot of mitigation there with how clean he kept it in the air. And it's especially important that those feet came down first and not the hands.
Yeah, that's for sure. The judges are going to be looking, was he weight bearing on his hands? And that's going to determine the size of the deduction. To me, again, I'm not judging today, but it didn't look like he had too much weight on his hands. I don't know what the judges are going to do with that one. But clean vault, Army's going to look to bounce back from that one and build back up their momentum here. We got Will Champagne coming up next. This vault is super clean.
Solid. He will get the green flag. Dhiren, I don't know. I saw a foot scoot a little bit. I'll take it because I'm a Navy fan, but what do you have to say?
Tough to see on the stream. If I was judging, I might have not raised that flag. But
I think maybe we got away with that one.
Yeah, I'm not judging, but they raised the green flag, so what can you do?
Right, let the judges judge, right?
Right, but clean in the air. Like I said, I was expecting him to be clean, and he was, and he delivered on that stick right down the middle as well. Judges are gonna like that one.
Yeah, you had the crystal ball on that one, man. You said it before he started, and he went right with the forecast. That was a good call there. We got Nick Lester up on vault next for the Black Knights. And you're just going to see more and more intense gymnastics as this lineup goes down. Maybe an extra flip, maybe an extra twist. They usually save the heavier hitting gymnast for the back end of that lineup, as we said.
Oh,
nice double full. Army gets a green flag back from the midshipman. Great response to a stuck landing from William Champagne there.
yeah, that's exactly what you want to see after, a rougher vault. He brought it, and he did it probably, I would be guessing, the best that he could probably do. I mean, it looks clean. I didn't see any major deductions. Looked clean onto the table, stuck landing, clean in the air. I mean, that's the best you could ask for, really, for a vault, like for a double full like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think he managed it well. It can be intimidating when you see, Navy start to catch a roll like that and be able to respond and show your teeth like that. Definitely a commendable response there and a great answer from Army. We will have Sam Baratagunta up next. He has the tendency to get a little bit squirrely in the air, but he has very solid, rigid landings, and that's exactly what we're going to look for out of him. Coach Kip trusts that he's able to throw this skill down no matter what the form looks like. He's got to keep it tight here. Small little leg cross there, a little bit of a hop. Did his job, though, put it down on the ground. Just what we expected out of him, and I think it'll still put up a very solid score for the midshipman.
Yeah, pretty good vault there. Pretty sizable hop, and maybe a little low chest on the landing, but clean in the air, on his feet. Can't be too upset with that. Another hit in the books for the mid, so we'll see what the judges think.
Exactly. At the end of the day, especially with this apparatus, what I'm looking for if I was a head coach is, as long as I don't see hands on the ground and I don't see a butt on the ground, like, we're going to be able to get away with something decent to put up for the team.
Looks like they're setting up for your Chenko type vault here. So Franco is going to be doing a round off back handspring onto the table.
Whoa. Oh, man. Franco,
yeah, they're putting up a fight.
Stick.
They are putting up a fight on vault, that's for sure. I mean, the thing about the Yurchenko is, man, it's so hard to get deducted on your entry because it's much easier to keep your legs together, right?
Yeah,
would you
absolutely.
agree with that, Fritz? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
and with
so.
Dhiren, for those of you that are watching online that aren't too familiar, that Yurchenko entry that he's talking about is just a different entry onto the table. There are 3 different ways to enter onto the table. You have that round-off mechanism, you have that front handspring mechanism, and then you have that Yurchenko style, which is the round-off back handspring onto the table, which are all different unique variations to your vault. And we just saw Franco do a very unique vault there and manage it completely perfectly. I loved everything that I'm seeing so far, and that's why I say don't hold your breath too much, because anything can happen on the back half. Matthew Petros, a little bit of a bobble there on the landing on that 2.5. It's a big vault, and we'll see how much it was worth it. A little bit of a struggle there on the landing. We would have liked to see something cleaner there, but again, that's a big vault D. It can go anyway.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that's the highest star value you've seen thus far. We got our lineups a little mixed up. So I believe that was Jonathan with the Yurchenko. Correction. So still waiting on the scores, but Jonathan with that nice Yurchenko stick. And yeah, so about that 2.5, that is a bigger vault. So you're kind of being a little more risky, but when you do it well, it's rewarded very highly. So he stayed on his feet, 2 big steps, a little wobbly. So usually we probably would hope to have done that a little better, knowing Max, but still great. Still got the job done. We'll see how the scores match up here going into rotation number 5, the parallel bars.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see those scores load up. A little bit of a lag going on as the judges populate those scores, and we'll get a better indication of how that vault played out. Again, don't go too hard off of that 227.65 for Army to Navy's 220.95 as those scores have not populated yet. We will give you an update on the scores once those vault scores come in. We will be now transitioning into the parallel bars as we go into our 5th apparatus out of 6. Solid lineup for Navy, solid lineup for Army. And Dhiren, I know we can both speak for this. Let me set the scene. It's just now 2019. It is early February. We are in cold West Point, and parallel bars was the catalyst for our change when we beat out the Black Knights by 4.5 tenths at their domain. What a ride of a story on that one. This is a crucial event as we finish this back half of the meet, as we can say. And oh, what a memory just thinking about that year, man.
Yeah, that was a crazy meet. I remember I was feeling a little uneasy going into parallel bars because, the halfway point gives you a decent idea of how the meet's going, So when we get, we're down and feeling a little uneasy, and our parallel bars lineup just really did their job. And like you said, it was a catalyst for that good high bar rotation that ended up winning us the meet by a very slim margin. So just like parallel bar is one of those events where you could be a little off, and it's pretty unforgiving. So they're going to try to find a nice rhythm with each routine, zone in. We got a pretty stacked lineup here on both sides, like you said, Fritz. So excited to see how they match up with each other. Army has a bit of ground to make up, but like we said, the door can always be kicked open, especially on this event. So
absolutely. I'm going to be banking heavily on Dhiren to kind of lead the way on this event. If he's not going to plug himself, I will. He was probably the last samurai that we had on the parallel bars. That is his domain. He loves it. He was born and bred for it. And really looking for some good analytics here on this event, Dhiren.
Yeah, I'll see what the guys are up to. I was there in December and they looked good. I even hopped up and did a few skills myself. Yeah, trying to get my grip right. That's something we can get into, talk about the grip a little bit, see how the guys make their grips and whatnot. I know I was very tuned in to my grip, and it was something I obsessed over a little too much until Coach Mike came along and helped me out with that. It changed my career, I guess. No, not career. It changed how I competed. It changed how I competed a lot. So shout out to Coach Mike for that one. I know he's pushing that hard with these guys here about their grip and just overall feel on competing parallel bars. It's not the easiest event to compete. So
well, Dhiren, I'm going to ask, as a member of the class of 2022, to save the whole gang, are you putting yourself in this lineup to hit a set?
Ah, man.
You still got it in you?
Probably a year ago, I would have said yes. But after how I felt in December,
it
felt really off, bro. I would have to take maybe a week and a half of training before I could see myself in the lineup here.
It just goes to show, a lot of gymnastics is kind of like riding a bike. Your basics, your swings to handstands, your giants on high bar. A lot of those things can come naturally after backing off the sport. Dhiren and I are almost 2 years removed at this point. You keep a lot of that stuff with you. I know for a fact I can still do, a handstand or a backflip, and I think Dhiren can say the same as well. But those small intricacies of the sport and that raw talent, it really does subside the more time you spend away from the gym. But we always had this running joke where if you could go back and save the entire gang by putting one set on the line, could you still do it? And I put my money on Dhiren. I think he still got it in him.
Yeah, you never know. When you have that type of pressure, you never know what could come out. Like you said, pressure makes diamonds. So
that's right.
That's
right. I'm excited to see, though. Honestly, though, going back to vault, just to recap, very strong showing from both sides. Smaller gymnastics, but really good landings. Saw some bobbles here and there. I think Navy had their own, Army had their own, obviously, but it was a good tit for tat. And both teams really did their job overall. Still waiting for those last couple scores to populate on vault. We're just showing low 40s right now, so I know there's still more scores to be spun up, and that is where we're having that delay as we rotate into the parallel bars. It could be anything from judging deliberations to coach inquiries, or just the team shifting to a new apparatus as we wait for those scores. So stay tuned. We will be populating those shortly. And in the meantime, Dhiren, I'll just inquire. We can just talk. What do you have to say so far? We're 4 out of 6 in, 2/3 of the way done. What do you like? What do you not like? What are the gripes? What are the compliments?
Let's see. So, one thing I like is after a mistake, the next guy up being able to stop the bleeding, as we say, and put up a good set, and just bring the momentum back to their team. I really like that. I've noticed both teams kind of have just clean sets. Not the highest difficulty, but clean, and that's all you can ask for when you have lower difficulty sets. It's just to be clean and has as minimal deductions as possible, right? So I've been seeing that from both teams so far, and yeah. What else do you have to add? What do you think?
No, I think you're pretty much spot on. I might have the bias of being under Coach Craig, Coach Kip, and we had Coach Mike for that last little bit. Something that they truly do harp on, and something that we've mentioned throughout the stream is Coach Kip's one of his favorite phrases is stop the bleeding. And that means that the onus is on that next man up. If your brother before you falls or has a bobble or a shaky routine, is that you're on call at this point to respond to that and to execute your duty properly. And we're seeing that from both sides. I know Army probably harps on their own things, and their execution has been great as well. But I can speak for the Navy side when I say, your expectation is to do your job. And if you fall short of your job, the next man up, it is on him to execute his duty and pick up that slack for his brother. And we're seeing a healthy balance from both sides. I'm honestly impressed with both teams. Both teams really laying it all out there. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to run. Both of these teams know it. They're propelling themselves into this last final stretch of the meet. And I'm really excited for this next apparatus. P-Bars is going to be a wild ride, as we've said. There's still more work to be done, and it's time to put the hay in the barn for both teams. Dhiren, I'm going to let you have the floor. I'm going to sit back and relax and feed off of your commentary, but this is your apparatus. If you guys can't see all the way across the way behind the judges, shameless plug, that is Dhiren Lutchman on the decal, swinging some parallel bars. Let's get it. We got Colby Prince up first. I'm excited for this event.
Yeah, this was my favorite spot in the gym. This is where I spend most of my time. I mean, rings sometimes, but this is where I like to be, so I'm very excited to see how this goes.
Absolutely.
Nice
we got a
start.
good angle here too for the gymnast, so we can really analyze here.
Nice Healy. Maybe a little short on the hold, but I like that he didn't move his hand there. Okay, so he took a little extra swing. He was a little off on that split, so I guess he wanted to take an extra swing. All right, a little rough start for the mids. Colby looked maybe just a little rushed in that routine. Probably has something to do with the nerves. I understand. A little rushed, and then ended up taking an extra swing, and unfortunately, a fall in the dismount as well. So, but Shaw is up next. Going to definitely be looking to stop the bleeding on that one for sure, and build that momentum back up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Dhiren, you can speak to this as well as, a lot of gymnastics is about rhythm and momentum, and parallel bars is one of those apparatuses where it moves quickly. You got to be concise with your skills, and if you're even a little bit off, the routine can feel rushed. You get a little bit out of control, and it's all about managing that.
Yeah, that's just doing reps, right? Like in practice, some of those routines are going to be rushed, and how do you handle it? You practice during training, how you're going to handle it, so when it happens in the meet, you're ready for every possible outcome, right? So that's just going to come with time. Colby's going to get more comfortable, get more reps in, and we'll improve from here. Got Jacob Brenner here for Army. Nice handstand. Very high tempo. That was impressive. Nice amplitude on that.
looking good so far. That was a huge to pelt, you're right.
Yeah, this is looking pretty clean.
Just the dismount here.
Well done. So here is what we said earlier. I mean, Navy opened the door a little bit, and Army responds, and it's gonna be interesting down the wire, that's for sure. So that was a very clean set. Took advantage, if you will, of the mistakes by Navy. So I know coach staff is gonna be happy with that. Coach J.D. Reeve is gonna be very happy with that performance. And like we said earlier, Vishal is going to, try to close the door back on him. You know what I mean? So Vishal has a very big routine, very intricate, a few very intricate skills in there. So we'll see how he handles it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing to say about this head-to-head format is, there's different variations of layouts of meets, and you'll have different teams competing on different events. But when it's just two teams in the gym and you guys are on the same event, it gives you that opportunity to either open or close that door, per se, as Dhiren was mentioning. And it makes the meet a little bit more intimate, a little bit more tight-knit, so you can kind of focus on what's being done and what you need to do. Vishal knows what needs to be done, and it is on him, and we will see if he will capitalize on that endeavor. Here he goes, getting ready to load up for this routine. This is Vishal Mandava.
Nice fluid back press handstand to start. You got a Healy coming up here. Well done. Got a big skill coming up here. Peach half.
Looks like we've got Steve Malinakis on the parallel bars now. Good Diamondov, small leg separation, solid stutz. Need to control and hit those handstands. Good straddle cut there.
Yep, looking good here.
Just got to throw the dismount down.
Oh.
Solid with the stick. Small little knee bend there. We would have liked to see the leg straighter. He managed the routine well, Dhiren. There was a lot of opportunity for mistakes there, and he clutched up in some key opportunities. Overall, great capitalization.
Yeah, for sure. And just to keep a bigger picture in mind, talking about opening the door, what Navy had, what was a 7 or 8 point lead, and now it's close to less than 4 points. So, Navy really has to be on their P's and Q's here to keep that distance, because high bar is another one of those events where you might find yourself off very quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. And Army's taking advantage. You know, you've seen that stick. We talked about the importance of those sticks earlier, and that's going to become even more important down the stretch. So
100%. For those of you that are older graduates or maybe have competed against Navy before, we are now located in Halsey Field House, which is different from our usual McDonough Hall. We're 2 years removed on a construction project. Should be fully refurbished by 2026 at the latest, and looking forward to get back into our home village of MacD. This is William Champagne on the parallel bars. Nice healing
well
to
done.
start.
No hold again, but good recovery.
Looking good so far, D. What do you have to say?
Yeah, it's just, you know, some of those above the bar skills look a little rushed from the Navy guys. But overall, you know, you can't be too upset with his routine so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to stop the bleeding, so to speak. See what he's got for the dismount. Need a stick here. Come on, Will. Small hop. Overall, solid set. I'll take it.
Yeah, we have a 13-0 from Vishal. That will be very helpful to the mids.
Absolutely. Steve Melanakis coming in at an 11.95. Army still with the edge here. Will with a good response. We will see what Army has to offer, but I will say overall solid set from William Champagne. Up next, we got Blaze Kennedy of Army. Nice long giants there. Suarez, love to see that, D. Haven't seen that one in a while.
Yeah, that's a good skill. This is a packed routine here.
Truly, really swinging from one end to the other. Going to see another one right here. Nice Muay to support. Open double pike, but clutches the landing. Really sticking these dismounts. Army is really crawling their way back.
That's for sure, yeah. Army is taking full advantage of these sticks. It's going to pay off in the end, that's for sure. It's going to make this a lot closer than Navy would probably like it to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, this goes back to what you were saying about, you know, that risk versus reward with how much difficulty you want to bring onto the podium. And Blaze had a lot to offer. Execution may have not been to perfection, but he did it well enough to put up a decent score. I'm expecting a very, very solid score here from Blaze. I thought he managed the routine well, and it was jam-packed with a lot of action, high-flying skills, and, you know, a stuck landing is a stuck landing. We love to see it, whether which side it comes from. You know, good gymnastics is good gymnastics, and I got to tip the hat to that guy for that one.
For sure. Matthew Petros, I think last week or at the Navy Open, posted a 14.05. So expecting a big one here.
I didn't even know that. I'm excited to see this.
Really clean. Nice peach, just a little step. Good fight. Good fighting through this routine.
Managing it well.
Yeah, a lot of little steps, a little uncharacteristic from Matt, but still, putting up a good set, fighting through it. Not making these small mistakes big mistakes. And that's what's really important, especially on this event.
Needed
There
to
we
see
go.
it. We got it. He loves it. Team's going to be happy with that one. That's what we talk about when we say getting it back, stopping that bleeding. I will add Blaze Kennedy posted that 13:05. Very good score for an otherwise very, very strong routine that will help their team out tremendously. And, like we said from the get-go on this event, man, Army really catching their stride here, trying to respond, close that gap a little bit. And they've got the edge right now on this apparatus.
Yeah, they really do. Currently leading by 2 points. And we'll see here. So Noah Dhiren is up next for Army. Typically you see horse guys and parallel bar workers, come as a pair, like somebody who would be good at horse would be good at parallel bars. Maybe not as typical as I think, but I usually see that a lot. So he was very good on horse today. We'll see what he has here on the parallel bars.
Beautiful Healy there, right into that pirouette. Sure. Nice long lines. Gorgeous. A little short on those handstands, D. I think you can add to that, but overall, a very controlled routine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those handstands, like we said earlier, just something that comes with practice, being more comfy in a meet. Whoa, nice stick.
That's a different exit off the parallel bars than we have seen so far. That was a front uprise to a double front. Smacked it on the mat. Feet like honey. Stuck like glue. That is another stick for the Black Knights. Really trying to close this gap.
You know what they say, Fritz, right?
What do they got?
Like a toothpick in a club sandwich.
Yes, sir. Army really taking care of business out here. I love to see it. Hey, man, I don't want one team to blow the other team out of the water. I like it down to the nitty-gritty. I love competition, especially in a meet format like this. How can you not ask for a better meet than what we got going on right now?
Yep, and a 13.65 from Matt, so he did deliver.
Absolutely.
Did deliver. Very good routine for him.
I think we're going to see, look at that, comparable score from Noah Dhiren. They populated it quickly, half tenth off, neck and neck here. Army still with the edge.
Navy with less than a 5-point lead now. So as we get down to the wire, only 6 routines left from each team in the entire meet. Every routine is going to be super important. So excited to see how these guys handle the pressure.
Absolutely. This is either the opportunity for the midshipmen to put that nail in the coffin or Army to rise from the ashes and make this thing interesting. senior from the Naval Academy, Caleb Hickey's routine is on eval from the judges. We still have one more competitor from West Point to go. Their anchor man. We are expecting something big.
Yeah, Jackson has a real nice above the bar work. Expecting a lot of good holds, nice handstands.
Come on, good. Good. Good.
There you go. Nice Makut.
Big difficulty there. Makut's into Healy. Love to see it. Into the Diom.
Good.
Showing those handstands. This is a good routine so far, D.
Ah, for sure. Oof. Good save.
Definitely a good save on that landing there. Had to fight for it. Overall solid routine. Little sloppy on the dismount, but you know, we'll see when the score populates. But Army really trying to catch a stride here as we navigate the back end of this meet. We got one event left to go. You know, I'm not going to say anything's over until it's over. The door is open. It's on Navy to capitalize and for Army to keep grinding. This is going to be an interesting last event. Overall, we've seen 5 out of the 6, and you know, D, I'm impressed with both sides. You know, Navy with a bottom heavy team now as the seniors are getting to rotate out. We've got a lot of youth on the team, a lot of growth potential, but you know, this is more unique than what we've seen in years past from Navy, where usually we have a more senior team and they're really trying to catch their stride here in the NCAA.
Yeah, so Army beat out the mids by a point and some change on the parallel bars, closing that gap a little bit in the finals, in the total scores. And like we said, high bar is one of those events where, you know, you tap wrong, your timing is a little off, and you might find yourself laying on the mat, which will be costly. So want to see how these guys handle the pressure here, knowing that Army's right on their heels. Going to be interesting to see.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see that next man up mentality. I know how much Isaiah Drake of the Midshipmen loves his high bar. We're missing him sorely today. And, you know, the next guy's got to clutch his opportunity to showcase what he's got. I'd say overall the Midshipmen are managing their lead quite well, not getting too comfortable, so to speak, and trying to keep that throttle down as much as they can to shirk off these Black Knights. But, you know, I got to give it to Army, man. They are really hanging in there despite the gap, given everything they've got. And I think this is going to be a very interesting last event. And, you know, I will say anything is possible.
For sure. Looking at the lineups here, you know, looking at the Army lineup, I see some names that we haven't seen yet today. I saw a couple guys in warm-up doing some very unique skills that I'm very excited to see here. The Navy guys, Sam, Vishal, Matt, Caleb, and Eric. Strong lineup. We should see some pretty big releases from Sammy to start off with Army here. Okay.
All right, let's see what we got. The Black Knights opening up the final apparatus in Halsey Field House. Let's see what we got.
Big release.
Nice Takachev there. Good quads.
That was pretty close to handstand. You want to see these guys hitting handstands on their turning skills. So that quads was pretty close. That is a hard skill to hit in handstand. I know from personal experience.
And another stuck landing for Army. really
There you go.
trying to mitigate those losses there, taking control of every 10th on the table. Go ahead and stack that routine there, Army. That is good stuff.
Yeah, and you know in the back of your mind, as much as you just think about your routine, you know in the back of your mind that this is going to come down to all those little things, angles, sticking, leg separations, etc. So coming down to the wire here, those guys are really going to be trying to hit every detail that they practice in training all week and all season so far. So good to see that Army's training is paying off. Yeah, very good to see the shape the
Yeah.
program is in.
Absolutely. I say no matter which way the results fall, Army has a nice hook to hang their hat on as, being that team that really did not leave a stone unturned. They've been executing to the best of their abilities and drilling those landings. I don't know how you can be upset with a performance like that. I'm very, Dhiren, I can speak for years past where, we've been the stronger team, but Army is really impressing me this year.
Yeah, they are chomping at the heels for sure. Looking very impressive today. So for Sam here, he's gonna have a big release to start, a Kovacs, I believe, and then a few more after. So pretty big routine to start off with.
Let's see what he's got. Smacks it. Good stuff out of Sam Baradagunta. Nice pike to Kachev there. First half off to a good start. Gonna work another one here. Nice straddle, puts it back on the bar. Good distance from the bar. Looking good so far, Dhiren.
For sure, yeah. I mean, not much to say about this. I mean, releases have been at a good distance. Small hop, but good routine. Yeah, releases have been at a good distance. Nice swings out. Arms usually locked. And the angles are pretty good. I mean, that's all the check marks for a high bar routine. So you're just missing a stuck landing there. Nice double dismount. Slight pike down, but overall, solid routine.
Yep, that's what we just call a textbook Naval Academy routine right there. Nothing too crazy. Get your job done. Get in, get out. He did just that. Good delivery for our first man up for the Naval Academy. We will see how the score compares to Tucker of the Army Black Knights. We will have...
Yeah, and that...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was saying we will have another Black Knight up next to start the rest of their leg of the last event. As we wait for Sam's score to populate, which just came in at a 12.9, so takes the edge there on the first man up.
For sure, and I was going to say Navy here is just a matter of nobody trying to be a superhero, right? Everybody's doing their job, avoiding big mistakes to get the job done, and that's what Sam did. Hopefully the rest of the lineup can do that. Army looking good here so far. Nice in-bar endo. That is a hard skill. Very hard skill.
Absolutely. Managed that well.
A lot of people have been doing that more.
Another stuck landing for Army. They are capitalizing on these landings. And Dhiren, like you said, a lot of these intricate skills, like these in-bar movements, are difficult to do. And when you see a gymnast execute them properly or in a perfect fashion, you got to tip your hat to that. That's always great to see.
Yeah, I'll say the Army coach staff must be having these guys run a lot of stick drills because they are definitely out sticking their mids today. That's for sure. Very impressive. Hard to stick as many routines as they're sticking.
Absolutely. Up next, we're going to have Vishal Mandava, second class or a junior at the Naval Academy. Looking for nice, clean in-bar, not necessarily the craziest high-flying gymnastics, but like Dhiren said, we're just looking for another guy to get his job done, get in, get it out for the Naval Academy to keep that lead.
Yeah, Vishal has one of those body types that's made for high bar, like we were talking about earlier, with certain people on Pommels. Tall, long, his swing looks real nice, and there you go. Hits that handstand. Gonna be hard for the judges to take any deductions on that. half talk a little low. Um, Judges are probably going to take off some deductions for that one, but avoids any major mistakes there. Looking for
Absolutely.
a stick, and there you go.
Bang. Got one back. He loves it. Green flag goes up. He's hyped. The team is hyped. We're closing in here, Dhiren. We've only got 3 more competitors left for Army, 2 more to do the job for Navy. We shall see what is left on the table, but I love what I just saw from Vishal Mandala.
Yeah. Great set from him. I know he's working on upgrading that difficulty. Just a solid overall set. He's going to be, if he can add something to that routine, it's going to be that much better because I know he'll do it very cleanly. Coming from Cypress Gymnastics Academy in Texas, very well-known program. Always drilling the basics, always producing great gymnasts. So shout out to Vishal.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you had mentioned about, working difficulty and not reaching your full potential left. Gymnastics is a lot like football in the sense that they say, you don't want to be playing your best football until you're turning over from November to January or November to December as you're headed into the postseason. It's a lot like gymnastics too. You don't want to be showcasing your utmost potential until you're there at the turn of trophy season as you get into late March, early April. So these gymnasts have limitless potential as they continue with the rest of the season. Saw
Yeah.
a slight bobble there from Army. We had a gymnast come off the high bar on one of his releases. He will take a full point in deductions there. He will regroup, chalk back up, and get back on the high bar to finish the rest of the set. Unfortunate break there. They've been on a great hot streak with their landings and execution, but we will see how he manages the rest of his routine.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the first release of callbacks was a little close. He made it work. He worked out of it well. Didn't quite make the adjustment for the second one to make it a little further, but when you're trying to stay on the bar in a meet like this, sometimes you put things a little closer because you want to make sure you have a chance to catch the bar, right? Sometimes
Absolutely.
it's a little too close. Sometimes a little too close, and you have so much weight and momentum. The bar just throws you off, and sometimes that's how it goes with this event. But good recovery here. Nice swing from him. Nice tall, long swing.
Absolutely. Managing it well so far after that small fall. Slight bobble on the dismount as well. Overall, picked himself back up, got back on the high bar, finished his job. It's a good showing from Army. Just shows the tenacity of the team, the never quit attitude. Just trying to make ends meet there and respond after a hiccup.
Yep.
Next up, we're going to have Caleb Hickey from the Naval Academy. And, I will say the thing that I like about Caleb Hickey is he's kind of your hybrid gymnast. He's more known for his parallel bars, but on high bar, he's quite the sight for eyes because he does, a lot of intricate in-bar work, but he also has a healthy, a healthy delivery of some good release moves as well and a nice clean dismount. I'm looking forward to this routine. Love this guy. Love him as a gymnast. He's clean, he's talented, and he knows how to work his in-bar phenomenally well.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, maybe he's grown an inch or two because he looks pretty tall here.
Right?
Oh, this is Matt. This is Matt Petros. That's why I was a little confused.
Oh,
This is Matt.
excuse me. I'm misspeaking. Dhiren, you're right. That's a tall Caleb Hickey right there.
Yeah, I was a little
Petros
confused.
on the high bar. My bad. Yeah, we got Petey swinging the high bar now. Nice aggressive.
Oh,
Oh.
that was a huge Takachev. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on to the bar, especially after that nice half Takamoto. Unfortunate, but Coach Craig is going to try to talk to him, tell him what he expects from him for the rest of this routine. He's going to look to. Coach Craig might have him repeat the skill or not. I'm not quite sure. He might have him just continue after it because he has more releases to come. So we'll see here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that plays into a lot of the strategy that we're talking about amongst the coaching staff and the gymnasts. Is it worth it to do that release again, which he does not do, or, to leave it out, which he did. And that's all dependent upon, stacking your value and executing a good routine while the points are still left up on the board.
Yep. And good
Stops
recovery.
the
Good
bleeding.
finish.
You know, obviously a little bit frustrating with pinging off the bar there, but you can't be too mad. You know, we went tit for tat on those falls. We're all just, you know, trying to mitigate as much as we can. He responds well once you get back up on the bar. You know, Dhiren, you can talk to this too because you were a high bar gymnast at the Naval Academy. It's got to be pretty stressful when something unforeseen happens like that and then it's on you to respond. You know, what kind of stuff goes through your mind when you're in a situation like that?
Yeah, I remember falling one time and I was obviously frustrated, and you're a little flustered as well because, you know, having to restart a routine is never, especially if you fall on like your first or second skill. Now you're looking at basically doing a whole another routine. So you're
Exactly.
tired, you're kind of thrown off your game a little bit. You just have to reset and, you know, just get the job done. Definitely
Absolutely,
something
yeah.
you practice in training as well.
Of course. Got Jaden Blank here for Army. Let's see what kind of stuff he has to throw down. The gymnastics is only going to get bigger. Nice in-bar work there. Super clean. Beautiful handstand lines on that in-bar.
Yeah, I love that. That's like textbook high bar work right there. Legs locked, arms. Man, you got to be super flexible for that as well.
Oh, yeah. Again, another tall, slender gymnast. Very aesthetically pleasing. Got a nice long swing. Judges love it. Let's see what we got for the dismount. Little chest down, small step forward on that landing. Judges will find some stuff to take off there. But I love that routine. I truly do. In-bar was nice. Releases were solid. A little bit of a fall apart on the dismount, but I'm not too nitpicky about what happened on the bar.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if I was judging that routine, I would give that a great score, to be honest. I love that routine. It stands out from the rest as well, just because his lines are so clean. Arms are locked, you know, it just, you know, he had a little bit of his own flavor to that routine, which I appreciate. Sometimes you just got to play to your strengths and what you're good at, and that's exactly what he did with those in-bar skills, and it worked out.
Of course. Okay, now we've got Caleb Hickey and all those great things I said about him. He's going to showcase him here in the routine. Sorry to Matthew Petros for stepping on your toes, but now here we have Caleb Hickey of the Naval Academy. What does he got to offer?
Full talk there. A little low and a little wild. Yeah, a little wild, but it's okay. Nothing catastrophic. He's going to look to just control the rest of his routine.
Touch of action here. Good. Puts it on the bar. Made up for it on the half talk, though. I think that was a lot better. Good quast. Gonna wrap it up.
Moving
here.
real fast. Nice take.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. Definitely a little bit more of a fast-paced high bar set. I think that's kind of, you know, his niche there. He does tend to move quickly through his skills. I've seen him on a little bit more than he was there, and I've seen him more off than he was there. I think that was your run-of-the-mill routine. Again, we're in the business of doing your job, trying to keep your lead, and standing tall as we finish this home stretch. I think he did his job. You know, he put it where it needed to be. It wasn't his best. It wasn't his worst, but he did a bang-up job there. I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing with those body types, if somebody's shorter like Caleb, you know, the routine might look a little more quick just because the person isn't as long and tall, and your swing doesn't look as large. So he might not even be trying to go fast, but, you know, it just looks that way to the human eye because of his size.
That's a good point.
But overall, great job. Nice connection there. That was super aggressive and quick.
Got a little sloppy there at the end, but yeah, we don't see those Yamawaki Ginger connections too much. Love to see it. A little bit of retro gymnastics there. Again, like the uniqueness that you were talking about. We love to see a gymnast have their own unique individual style. Like that right there. We've got an L-grip endo, which you don't really see too much anymore. Love
Yeah, that's for sure. I was just about to say that Rebolco, the skill that he did getting into that grip, you don't see people do too often anymore because a lot of people are worried about, you know, getting too much of an ankle deduction, but he did it very well there. And the endo, the eagle grip endo was was impressive as well. You don't see people doing that. I mean, that takes a lot of flexibility, a lot of mobility. It is not easy to do. I tried to learn it, and I gave up very quickly.
Yeah, that was good. I didn't even realize that it was a Rebalco for the entry. Yeah, very unique gymnastics, very old school. A lot of guys are kind of starting to taper away from that because, like you said, those harsh angle deductions. Managed it well. It'll put up a decent score. We've got one competitor left for the United States Naval Academy, and that is your senior, Eric Engelke, to finally put the hay in the barn. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your last competitor of the meet, Eric Engelke.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Fritz. Something like we saw Eric had a mishap on rings earlier, and something like that would stay in my head personally. I'm not sure about Eric, but you might not be trying to think about it, but subconsciously it's in the back of your head. So curious to see how he deals with that mishap from earlier. Yeah,
absolutely. We're gonna see another Yamawaki Ginger connection. Manages it well. Good pirouette out of it, or a good swing to handstand out of it. Excuse me. Good half talk there.
Nice.
That was
I've
pretty
not seen
decent.
Eric do that. Yeah, I have not seen Eric do that before.
Love to see it. A little upgrade from your senior there. Really trying to make those work. Swings a little heavy. Legs a little separated on some of those in bars, but he's doing well so far. Just the dismount left. And a stuck landing for Eric Engelke of the Naval Academy. Gets his green flag, pumping up his crowd. Navy's got it in the bag. They said, I need someone to answer. He said, I've got it. And the Naval Academy midshipmen are celebrating a well-deserved win at home in a highly coveted match that is rich in tradition. They will start the party now and carry it through the weekend. What an incredible showing from both teams. Army cannot be upset at their performance. I think that they battled well. Both teams had fun, and they showed everything that they have to offer at this point. Dhiren, I cannot say enough great things about the meet. I know there were some bobbles here and there, but both teams found a way to make what they had work, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, it was an exciting meet, that's for sure, especially right after that halfway point when Army started, creeping through that door that Navy opened for them a little bit. Very exciting. Coach JD Reeve has definitely got this Army program headed in the right direction. Same thing with Coach Kip and the rest of the Navy coaching staff. I have nothing bad to say about this meet, like you said. Looks like the final scores aren't in yet, but looks like Navy will be taking home the star this year. That's always a plus for us, for Fritz and I, being grads. But like you said, the party will start and we'll continue through the weekend. So floor, we have the winner here, Sam Bertigunto with a 13.6, big start value, 5/10 higher than everybody else, followed by Franco and Danilo. Close race for the top three on that floor exercise where everybody was a little hobby today.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to Pommel horse, we had the Black Knights take it. Maddox Babellin took it. Looks like he beat his ex-teammate of the Naval Academy, Ronan McQuillan, by 6/10. Always love a friendly rivalry there with Matthew Petros coming in at third. Great showing on horse. It's a very difficult apparatus, and both teams managed it well. It was a good showing there. It kind of went tit for tat across the board.
Yeah, still rings. We have Riley taking home the gold. I believe that is his first event title on the still rings. As you can see, that high execution score, 8-7. Like we said earlier, a lot of these routines were comparable difficulty-wise, as you can see. So very close race for the top three. As you can see, we have a three-way tie, so that goes to show how close the race was on rings. Riley taking home the gold, followed by Will.
Moving on to vault, we had another event win by Army with Jonathan Pink there in first. We have a tie actually with Matthew Petros from Navy coming in at a 14.5 as well. And then we have a tie for third with Daniel Gurovich and Franco Pirano from Army coming in at 14.45. And that's all about that post flight. We've been talking about how important those sticks are, and you see right now just how important those can be.
For sure, yeah. A lot of stakes on the ball. I think we even see more stakes on, more stakes on the parallel bar. So we
Look
have
at
Matthew
that.
Petros winning the event with a 13.65, Noah Dhiren closely following in second with a 13.5, and Caleb Hickey with a 13.35. You can see Noah Dhiren with a 6/10 lower start value than Matthew, but only a tenth and a half behind him. So his execution, was very clean. 9.0 execution is very rare to see. Kudos to him, and a lot of sticks. Yeah, very impressive by Army.
Absolutely. We got another big stick train here. Same amount of misses. Only 3 people in both lineups missed that stick bonus. We got Caleb Hickey in first with a 13 flat. Sam Barretta-Gunta with a 12.9. And Vishal Mandava taking the 12.7. The mids take the crown in all 3 spots. Even the 4th spot as well. Really slamming that door shut as Army was trying to crawl back there at the end. Great way to finish off the meet. And we got the all-around here. Nobody competed the full all-around, which was 6 events, but if you were to include the amount of events that one gymnast did, we have Nick Lester in first with 5 out of the 6. We have Matthew Petros competing 4 out of the 6, and Sam Barretta-Gunta competing 4 out of the 6 as well. I wouldn't look at that too much, but honestly, a great showing of the variation of how many apparatuses these gymnasts have to offer in value for their teams. If we look down at the event summary, you can break it down. Mids take the floor exercise, mids take the pommel horse, mids take the still rings, the vault. Army came back and took the edge there on the parallel bars, and the midshipmen closed the door there on the high bar as well, giving them their 7th consecutive N star in a row. Again, Dhiren and I have been talking about just how much that means as a military institution to bring the pride of another star match back to home. And we got to win it here at our own house here in Halsey Field House. A great atmosphere, great energy. You love to see it. And I just know that both teams are riding the high of great energy, great competition, healthy sportsmanship, and just what a pleasure to watch, what a pleasure to commentate on. It was such a fun time with you, Dhiren. I loved every bit of it.
Yeah, for sure. Just overall, too, looking at the season, Navy posting a 390.1, Army a 377.5. So both teams, this was obviously, we have an interesting season because we look at this as a peak, right? This meet is so important to both teams. This is kind of a peak in the season. So moving forward, both teams can check this off their list and move on to the latter half of the season. Just look to build on what they did here today. So great meet. Pleasure doing commentary with you, Fritz. And beat Army.
Yeah, that's right. Beat Army indeed, and beat Army we did. It was a great time. I am your host, Brendan Fritz, from the great class of 2022, joined alongside me by Dhiren Lutchman, also from the great class of 2022. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I know for a fact that we did, especially when Navy takes home the cake. To everyone out there, I wish you a blessed new year. Happy post-holidays. Keep spreading peace and positivity amongst the world, and keep enjoying life. Until next time.